with Mario Lopez.
What's up, everyone? Mario Lopez. Joining me now on Zoom, the director and star of the new movie It Ends With Us, Justin Baldoni. Welcome to the show, man. How you been?
What's up, Mario? It's been a long time. I gotta say, I'm feeling all of the things, a little insecure because I'm looking at this perfect specimen of a man that I grew up watching, by the way.
Oh,
I wanted to look like you, and for some reason, you've been frozen in time,
oh, see,
cryogenically, and you're perfection. So, if you're not watching this, to anybody who's listening, he's wearing a tank top and his muscles are everywhere. And
you're my new favorite person and favorite guest we've had on the show ever. Just so you know, what?
No, I'm dead serious. When I grew up, not to take us too off course, but when I grew up and I was watching Saved by the Bell, like I dreamt of I wanted your body. Like
You're funny.
that was a thing. And
What?
and I don't know how it hasn't changed.
Oh, that's funny. Thank you. I appreciate the
No,
comment.
man, of
Where'd
course.
you grow up, by the way?
I grew up in Santa Monica, but I was raised in Oregon. So from 10 to 18, I was in Oregon,
Oh,
and I never missed an episode.
Is that right? Where in Oregon?
Southern Oregon,
Southern
like Ashland, Medford area. Yeah.
Okay, is that by Klamath Falls by
Yeah.
chance?
We played soccer against Klamath Falls. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a camp in Klamath Falls.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So
It's a beautiful place, man. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, nice place to grow up right there. Well, thank you. That's a funny story, buddy. Meanwhile, congratulations on the movie. I know it's an adaptation on a popular book, but for those who may not be familiar, what's the premise?
Yeah, It Ends With Us. It's a popular book by the amazing Colleen Hoover. And look, it's a love story. It's about romance. It's about hope. It's about the choices we make. And it deals with some very sensitive topics that will really cause you to think about relationships and the choices that we make in them.
And did this film attract, were you attracted to more from a directing standpoint? Because I know you also play a role in it. Or did the directing come afterwards? Was it the character first, or I'd love to have my take on this first?
Yeah, so actually, my company optioned the book in 2019. So actually, the last time I was on your show, I was promoting 5 Feet Apart in 2019.
I remember that.
And it was right around that same time that I was introduced to this book, and I read it, and I didn't know what to expect because I'd never really read romance novels. And by the end of the book, I was like sobbing. I couldn't even read the text. I had snot coming out of my nose. My wife was in bed next to me, I'm sure, asking, what the hell's going on? Like, what are you reading? And I just fell in love with it. And I fell in love with this story and with, I believe, the potential that this could have to really affect and change lives. And then once we optioned the book, actually just before we optioned the book, Colleen Hoover, the author, wrote me an email and asked me if I would ever consider acting in it and playing this part. And I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but sometimes there are opportunities or maybe things in life where there's a part of you that maybe wants to believe that you could do it, but maybe you don't really have the confidence, or like, oh, that would be great, but now this will never happen.
Sure.
And I just feel like the role itself was so complex that I just didn't know if I had what it took, but it was her belief in me that gave me the belief in myself that maybe I could. So directing came first, and then the acting, and then the pandemic hit, and this book went from, at the time, having 1 million copies sold to, over the next now 5 years, over 10 million copies sold.
Incredible.
So it's and there's so few event films for women, man, and this is a really special movie and a special book that I really believe can change lives.
And, well, what an endorsement from her. That had to make you feel great. And speaking of women, you got to play opposite Blake Lively, who's very sweet. How did that casting come about?
Well, once we partnered with Sony, we needed a movie star, and we went through the list of all the different potential movie stars, and Blake's name came up, and it was like, oh my gosh, it was like a light bulb went off. So I flew out there to meet her, and we had a 3-hour meeting, and by the end of it, I was just like, you are Lily, and I'm so grateful that she signed on to play her. I'm biased, but I genuinely believe this is like a career-defining performance for her. She's so good in this film, and I think she's gonna. I think she's gonna blow people away.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I believe the other guy, and forgive me, I forget the actor's name, but he's one of the stars of 1923.
Yeah,
I like
Brandon
that guy.
Sklar. He's so talented.
I like that guy.
So handsome. he has this magical gift of stillness, and he can convey so much emotion without doing anything. And I remember he just broke my heart and put it back together during the audition process. And I'm very excited for people to see him in this film. I think he's a huge star.
Oh, that's a great cast, man. I'm looking forward to checking it out. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you,
Um,
Mario.
you also got a podcast, the Man Enough podcast. What do you talk about on there?
We talk about masculinity. In fact, you should come and join us sometime. We talk about all kinds of things like body image and how my body image was affected by how gorgeous your body is. Talk about all the things that as men we don't often talk about. And the whole idea is that it's a space where we as men can grow and become better. We have another female co-host, Liz Plank. Shout out to Liz. And it's just a place where we can kind of refine ourselves and have honest conversations in a way that as men growing up, we just never really could, with the intention to become the best men we can possibly be, because we're all imperfect. We all mess up all the time. We say the wrong thing, we screw up, but it's about coming back from that and learning from that and being accountable, that then we can grow up to become like, the best versions of ourselves. So it's a podcast about that.
I
Love to have
love
you.
that's how you truly learn lessons. And if that wasn't a sympathy invite, but a real invite, I would love to be a part of it.
100% a real invite.
All right, thanks. Now this is cool. Your production company is also working on a live action Pac-Man movie. What is that? Is that happening?
It is. It is happening. There's not a lot I can talk about there.
Okay.
But I am so excited for this. Were you a Pac-Man fan?
Of course. Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, all the above.
All right. Well, maybe off camera when you and I meet for the podcast, I'll show you a couple things.
Okay, sounds good.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
I'm
look
excited
about
it,
that
man.
one.
And
Yeah.
I know you got a couple kids, right?
Maxwell and Maya, yeah. My daughter just turned 9 a couple
9,
weeks ago, and my son is 6.5.
All right.
And they are the light of my life. I just got back from Sweden this morning with my wife. We just celebrated her birthday, who's sitting right here.
Oh, nice. Happy birthday.
Yeah, and yeah, man, it's a really special time, man.
That's awesome. Good for you. Yeah, I'm right in that same wheelhouse too.
How old are your kids?
Same wages. 13, 10, and 5.
Amazing. Do you get them boxing with you and doing all the stuff you do?
Yeah, I got that. My boys, I do. I have a daughter and 2 boys, and so yeah, they box, they do jujitsu, they wrestle. So yeah, I keep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so no, it's fun, man. But at the same time, they're playing piano and they dance.
Yeah, of course.
The whole thing. So I try to keep them pretty well balanced right there. Hey,
Amazing.
nice talking to you. Congratulations on everything. I'm looking forward to checking out the film. You should check it out too. It Ends With Us. Hits theaters on Friday. Justin, thanks for hanging out, and hit me up about the podcast.
I will. I'm going to go to the gym right now so I can feel better about myself.
Right on, brother. Take care.
See ya.
On with Mario Lopez.